Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Easy English Learning. In today's class, we are going to read our next chapter of literature, that is The Great Wall of Rishikesh. Before reading the chapter, let's see a small activity that is related to adventure sports. Fill in the word web with words related to adventure sports. The words may be names of sports, feelings of the person when he or she is exploring these activities, qualities needed to embark on adventure sports, places where adventure sports usually happen, and so on. So, you can fill in these circles related to any of the activities that are given here. So, this chapter, The Great Wall of Rishikesh, is written by Saam Mehta. He is a well-known Indian travel writer and photographer. Rishad quit his corporate career to focus on his twin passions, fast cars and travel writing. Since then, his writings and photographs have appeared in leading travel magazines and automobile and lifestyle publications. This is an extract from his popular memoir, Hot Tea Across India. What is a memoir? Memoir, it is a narrative composed from personal experience. Means something that writer has written according to his own personal experience. That is true. So this present chapter, it's not a story, it's a memoir, an excerpt from that memoir, written by the writer Rishad Saam Mehta. So let's begin the chapter. The narrator and his friends Chetan and Mauneet meet up and decide to go river rafting. What is rafting? Raft is basically, it is a flat structure for support on water. So rafting is done through a rubber flat structure that is there. It's like a boat, but it is of rubber. That boat is of rubber. That is usually done when the current of the river is very high. That's where river rafting is done. So the author and his two friends, they decided to go river rafting in the rapids at Rishikesh. What are rapids? It's a part of a river where water moves very fast over rocks and the riverbed has a very steep slope at Rishikesh. But it is not a smooth journey. Read on to find what happens. So, the story is basically about the narrator and his friends Chetan and Mauneet who meet up and they decide that they will go for river rafting at the rapids at Rishikesh. But it is not a smooth journey. Let's find out that what actually happens in their journey. Mauneet and Chetan were spending a few days in Devprayag. I was in the Garhwal region on a work assignment, so the three of us decided to meet up at Rishikesh. So here the narrator's name is Rishad Saam Mehta, Rishad, Chetan and Mauneet. These three, they are friends and they decided to go on a river rafting experience. Mauneet and Chetan, they were both in Devprayag for a few days and I here is the narrator, was in Garhwal region on a work assignment. So the three of us decided to meet up at Rishikesh. These friends, they made a plan that they will meet together at Rishikesh. We checked into a tented rafting camp run by an old friend of mine. Now the author is saying that we did all the arrangements, whatever possible arrangements we needed, into a rented rafting camp where the people come together to do rafting. So they have built a camp for that. Located on a beach by the Ganges, it is the perfect place to relax. Now the author is telling through his experience that this is the perfect place to relax because you know that it is a memoir. So whatever it is written, that is the real experience of the narrator. Whatever he has experienced, he has shared it with his readers and is an ideal spot for river rafting as well. Now the narrator is saying that that place in Rishikesh, it's very much ideal for the river rafting experience. Means if someone wants to do that, he or she can surely go there for having such beautiful experience of river rafting. Chetan and I were very excited about the idea of rafting. Now the author is telling us that Chetan and the narrator, they both were very happy with the idea that they are going to have experience of river rafting. But Mauneet was petrified as he didn't know swimming. But their friend Mauneet, he was very much terrified. Petrified means terrified. He was very much scared because he didn't know swimming. He didn't know how to swim. I'm sure he was deeply regretting his declaration over dinner on the first evening at camp. Now, when these three friends, they came for a get together at the camp, and he declared, the Mauneet, their friend, he declared that they will go for river rafting. And now the narrator is telling that maybe I am feeling that he is very much terrified and he is feeling that he should regret his decision. Regret means to be sorry. That it feels that as if Mauneet was very much sorry that he has decided that they all will go for river rafting because he was very much scared of the water. He was not aware of swimming. In a show of monetary bravado, he had announced that river rafting was a piece of cake and that he would conquer the rapids easily. Now, in a show of momentary bravado, that means temporary show of boldness, means being brave. He was trying to be brave. He was trying to be bold. Who? Mauneet. Mauneet was trying to be bold, to be brave, that it's a piece of cake for me. Piece of cake means it's very easy. Piece of cake, it's a phrase that means very easy. So the narrator is telling that out of boldness, Mauneet declared that river rafting is piece of cake for me. I can do it. I'm not afraid. But now he was very much afraid about it, and that he would conquer the rapids easily. Rapids here, you know that current of the river, fast current of the river, that is rapids. And he said that he will easily win. Conquer means win. He will easily win those rapids, those fast current of the river. He can easily win that. Now, moving next. The next morning, he found himself on a bright blue raft. Now, next morning, they all were together at a bright blue raft with a paddle in hand, listening to the river guide, Kana Singh shout out commands like easy forward, right back, get down. Mauneet froze in fear as the raft sped towards the wall. Now, next day, they were going to have that experience of river rafting. So, Mauneet and his friends, the narrator and his friends, Mauneet and their other friend Chetan, they found themselves in a bright blue raft with a paddle in hand. Raft, it is a flat structure that is there for support on water. It is basically of rubber. So they found themselves in a bright blue raft with a paddle in hand. Paddle in rafting, in these kind of rubber boats, paddlers are there that they have to move either with the hand or feet in shallow water. They have to move like this. So they were very much carefully listening to the river guide. The name of the guide was Kana Singh, and he was shouting out and giving commands to them: easy forward, right back, and get down. These are the commands that he was giving. He was giving instructions to them so that they can have a right experience and very good experience of river rafting. Mauneet froze in fear as the raft sped towards the wall. Now, when they started their journey for the river rafting experience, Mauneet froze. He was frozen in fear. He was very much scared as the raft sped towards the wall. When they were moving towards those fast currents, Mauneet was feeling very much terrified. The wall is the scariest amongst the other rapids on the Ganges between Devprayag to Rishikesh. Now, mostly people, whosoever they go for river rafting, they go to that wall. That is their highest experience of river rafting they can have. Fast currents of water they can experience there. Fast currents of river is experienced at the wall only. So they were heading towards that point. The wall is the scariest amongst the other rapids on the Ganges between Devprayag to Rishikesh. Now the narrator is telling us that the wall, it was the scariest amongst the other rapids between Devprayag to Rishikesh. The rapid is both revered and feared because there is no fixed procedure or path through the wall. Now, why rapid is considered as, why it is admired and why it is respected. Revered means admired and respected. So the narrator is telling us that why it is respected as well as feared, because there is no fixed procedure or path through the wall, because there is no fixed procedure or any path to go through that wall. You have to move according to the current of the water, because the current is very high when the people are going to river rafting or river rafting. Its strength and the pattern of the currents change every day. That the flow of the river, the currents of the river, it keeps on changing. Its strength, its pattern, the way it will, the river waves will flow, it keeps on changing. It's not same every day. Sometimes several times during the day, and every time during the day, sometimes several days, it happens. The change keeps on taking place in those waves, in those currents of the river. The wall earned its name from the fact that going past it is like trying to go through a wall of water. Why it is called the Wall of Rishikesh, the Great Wall of Rishikesh? Because here is a very good question here that you can find, that why it is called a wall. The wall earned its name from the fact that going past it is like trying to go through a wall of water. Means if you want to go back, if you have come on a river rafting experience and now if someone wants to go back, they have to pass through this wall of water. That is very difficult to do. So that is why it is called wall of water. Rafters have to be very extremely careful while navigating the wall. Now the narrator is telling us that rafters, those who do river rafting, they are called rafters. Those people who go for river rafting experience, those rafters, they have to be extremely careful while navigating, while going through this wall, while traveling through the wall of water. 5 times out of 10 rafts flip while attempting this rapid. Whenever it happens, it is normal there, means 5 out of 10 times rafts flip while attempting this rapid. Rapid, the current of the fast rate of river current. While it is happening, flip. Flip means to turn. That it is normal that rafts, those rubber boats, they usually flip. They usually turn because the current is very fast. The current of the river is very fast. That's why it is normal that 5 out of 10 times the rafts, it flips. It just turn. As our raft neared the wall, Monit started praying, hoping that it would save him from this icy, frothing mess that he had allowed himself to be foolishly led into. Now, when the narrator is telling us that now they were heading towards that wall, their raft was near the wall. Monit, he started praying. He was very much terrified. You know that. He started praying, hoping that it would save him from this icy, frothing mess. Frothing means that kind of bubbles that are formed on the liquid, kind of foam, because the current is very fast. So that's why foam is made on the water. Those bubbles, that is called frothing. So now he was hoping that this icy frothing mess means he was in a big trouble. He was considering this mess a kind of trouble that he was in, that it would go away. He was praying for that he had allowed himself to be foolishly led into. Means out of some boldness, out of some that I will do it, such kind of attitude, he has put himself into a danger. Foolishly means he didn't use his brain while thinking about this, and he just came because his friends were doing this, so he thought that I can also do it, but he was very much terrified. By then, the noise created by the rapid was so loud that Kana Singh had to call out his commands at the top of his voice. Now, the rapids means the current of the water, the fast river current was very fast. Now, Kana Singh had to call out the commands at the top of his voice. Means he had to speak very loudly because the current was very high. Maunit's panic increased as he realized that this little rubber raft may not be able to handle the dangerous wall. Now Maunit was he was panicked, and his panic was increased when he realized that this little rubber raft may not be able to handle the dangerous wall. Now he could see that their rubber raft, it would not be able to handle the dangerous wall. Now Chetan and I were the fast row of paddlers, he on the right and I on the left. Now the narrator is telling us that Chetan and I, we were the fast row of paddlers. They were paddling because for moving that raft, they have to paddle those raft. He on the right and I on the left. Now the narrator is telling that Chetan on the right and the narrator on the left. Maunit was part of the second row and was sitting behind me. Now the narrator is telling that Maunit was part of the second row and he was sitting behind the narrator. I glanced back and saw his eyes widen with anxiety. And when the narrator glanced back, he looked at Maunit. He could see that there was so much fear, there was so much stress in the eyes of Maunit. I looked ahead. The wall emerged large. Now, when the narrator looked ahead, the wall was emerging like large. The waves were very large. He could see that. The wall of water. The waves were over 7 foot high, and huge holes were being created as the river leapt high in the air. You can see in the image also, that is there on the other page. I'll show you that tomorrow in the next page. On the next page, I'll show it to you. The waves were over 7 foot high, and huge holes were being created as the river leapt high in the air. Now, the river current, the fast rate of river current, that was very much high, and it moved up to 7 foot, and huge holes were being created as the river leapt high in the air. Then Maunit and then crashed back down, and suddenly, because that's how the waves work, they go up and down, so that's how they were 7 feet above in the air, and now they were back to the water level. Maunit tightened the grip on his paddle to prepare himself for battle as the raft was suddenly pulled towards the rapid. Now Maunit, he has tightened his grip on the paddle to prepare himself for the battle. Now the writer, he is creating an imaginary in front of our eyes, that we can imagine that how he must be feeling at that time. He just tightly took that raft in his hand. He tightened his grip of hand on the pedal of the prepare so that he can prepare himself for battle as the raft was suddenly pulled towards the rapid. Means now they were pulling that raft towards the rapid. Rapid means they were pulling that raft in the direction of the river current so that they can move through that. Because if they will try to move against the direction of water, they won't be able to move. So they were trying to pull that raft in the direction of the water. We tackled the first wave successfully, but everything went awry at the second wave. Now, the narrator is telling us that we successfully tackled the first wave, but everything went awry. Awry means not as intended. The way we thought, it did not happen like that at the second wave. So, this was all about the story. We have just started. Now, what will happen next? That will do in the next lecture, in the next video. You just go through this, read this chapter, read these 2 pages, go through the new words. I'll share the word meanings also. Go through the word meanings that are given there in the green box. Find out internals from this and subscribe to my channel if you have not. For more videos, you can see, you can like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.